back to the Unposted Thoughts Podcast. This is episode 3. I am the co-host up here, Adrian. I've got my awesome co-host,
Johnny.
And we've got an array of topics that we wanted to talk about on today's episode. So without further ado, let's dive in. Number 1 on the board is SB 4, Senate Bill 4. So now this bill was pushed into motion by Governor Greg Abbott late last year, December of 2023. And essentially what this bill touches on is any government agency can enforce the law. Now, it's particularly having to do with immigrants who illegally cross the Mexico border. And my thoughts on it are, as a fellow Mexican, definitely I think a huge percentage of families here in Texas are going to be affected by this if this bill does get approved and it's a law here in Texas. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think, just thinking that on a regular stop, they can not only ask for your license and registration, but also proof of residency or your papers. And having that much power within just with sheriffs, with constables, or even your normal officers is just gonna have a big hold on our communities, and it's gonna be
I think that the Hispanic group of people here are definitely gonna feel it if this bill does get approved. Now, luckily, we have a federal judge up in Austin. It's a fellow Texan, Judge David Ezra, and he issued a preliminary injunction on the bill February 29th, meaning that the bill is essentially up in limbo. It's halted until, I guess they make whatever tweak they want to make to the bill, leading to its then future approval, which, I see the need definitely. However, as a fellow Mexican, it's hard to fully agree and take the same stance that a lot of politicians are taking nowadays.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with it. Now that it's up in limbo, hopefully it doesn't get passed at all. A big percentage of our population are Mexican or Hispanics. A lot of the workforce is definitely Hispanic Mexicans. So I think not only are we gonna suffer with our percentages like in the workforce, but also it's just gonna be a major hit. Since we're a border state to Mexico, we get a lot of our people from Mexico, legally or otherwise.
Yeah, so from what I read, this bill only applies to Texas, being that Mexico is on that's our bordering country. So I guess we'll see where it goes. In other news, I do want to talk about Kanye West.
Oh, really?
Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are at it again.
Again? Wow.
So he essentially is airing her out on Instagram, and he made a post pretty much saying that, accusing her of having the kids in this school that they go to in California, saying that this school, if you're in the Hollywood circles, that that it's a school that kids go to when their families are in the quote unquote system. And I guess my take on it is, as a parent, you don't run to Instagram to air these issues out. But knowing the backlash that Kanye West has gotten within the past 2 years, and he essentially can't ever speak without being shunned. So I guess I'm not saying he gets a pass, but I definitely see his reasoning. Although I wouldn't run to Instagram to air out any issue with my ex-wife, current wife, I just wouldn't do it myself. What are your takes on that?
I feel like if you have a child dispute, especially within schools, I know Hollywood has a lot of, let's just say, background things in motion. I just didn't know it involved the education
schools.
system. Yeah, and it's just crazy how Kim K, which I'm assuming has custody of these children.
I'm not sure. I just remember Kanye West saying like maybe a year or 2 years ago that he went up to the school and all the Hulu, security guards pretty much got in the way of him, seeing his kids. Now all of this is alleged. We of course weren't there. We're just reading, what hits the tabloids. Now, keeping it on Kanye, he dropped some new Yeezy. Well, I guess he goes by Ye now, so we'll refer to him.
Oh, he did a rename on his brand.
So I don't know if it's a rebrand, a name change due to legal reasons, but he's got some new shoes, which I know you brought up to me.
I think yes, I did bring them up to you. They're the Yeezy Pods. They're supposed to be a cheap alternative to having, I guess, a Yeezy selection or a shoe from the Yeezy collection. They're like $20, and they're the Yeezy Pods. They're basically mostly fabric, and it's just two pieces of sole that go on the heel and then on the, I guess, right behind or below the front of your foot.
It looks very similar to the Balenciaga sock shoes.
The Balenciaga came out with sock shoes as well.
Well, those are years old, but it's the tube sock shoes.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
No, I never saw them. I'm not really with these new. I don't keep up with these new releases. I just whatever hits my eye is what I see, and these pods did hit my eye.
Are you gonna get some?
Honestly, I will not. They look mostly like an indoor shoe, something you take off your normal shoes and something like an indoor alternative.
It looks like something you would put on a character like on Fortnite or something. Like,
oh, definitely. It reminds me of like those mani pedis, definitely, because they have. Yeah. It's just a sock with a grip under it, and I'm pretty sure if you get a hold of them, they do feel, I guess, like
Luxe or
Luxe or Deluxe.
Who knows? I mean, they're on sale for $20. I know they initially went on sale for like $200. Now, Yeezy did come back and say anybody who purchased for the $200 price point, they will get reimbursed $180, which is amazing.
Oh, very amazing.
For a company to do that. Now, Yeezy Supply, which is, I guess, his new brand. It's not just Yeezy, it's Yeezy Supply. Everything was on sale on their website for $20. Now that was ranging from t-shirts, pants, jackets, shoes, like the new Yeezy Pods or whatever. And I'm assuming the Yeezy Supply is, I guess, a new company outside of the Adidas Yeezy that we were initially introduced to a few years back. And I'm saying that because also in the tabloids, it's that Adidas is, suing Kanye for $250 million. Now, alleging that the anti-Semitic comments that he made, when was this, a year ago?
I think a year ago. I know Adidas and Kanye haven't been the best. Recently, I did hear...
It's like they were amazing at one point, and then out of nowhere... I guess after the anti-Semitic comments, they just kind of decided to drop him. Now, they're alleging that he was damaging to their brand. So, I guess we'll see where the lawsuit goes. How do you feel about it? Because I'm kind of iffy about it. I mean, again, I'm kind of in the middle of like, is this just typical business? And I think like the big dog undermining the little dog? Is this... Is Adidas showing us something along the lines of like corporate greed, or is this, the vulturing, the undermining of these creators, these ideas? They strip them for what they want, and then essentially once they're done, they're just kick you to the curb. I'm kind of transient about it.
Iffy yourself?
Yeah.
Well, how I feel is I'm not too familiar with the Yeezy styles, but I have seen their slides. I think they're comfortable myself. The price is what's holding me back. But how I feel is if someone like Kanye has these designs that honestly some of them I kind of like, and you go through this brand, Adidas. They're so big. They're along like, you know, other brands are just widespread that they have the business itself. Adidas has to kind of maintain form, and I know Kanye is more like a wild fire. You know, he spreads a lot with not only his opinions but how he acts, his music as well. I think.
Yeah. So I think maybe this will teach those big brands, big companies to kind of be wary before they make these partnerships with these
Creators.
so-called creators and artists. Now, as big as an artist as Kanye is, there's no denying the innovation that he brought not only to fashion, but to the shoe sneaker world. I mean, to even the pop culture world. You've got all your celebrities from his ex-wife to all of their, you know, homegirls, and they're just their circle of people dressing, you know, in you know, Yeezy inspired clothing, Yeezy inspired fabrics, fashions, and so I'm kind of, again, I'm kind of on the side more where it's like, this is again the vulturing of ideas. And the reason why I say this is because Adidas is still moving forward and releasing shoes without even having Kanye on their side. Now, if you're going to end a partnership with, you know, a previous partner, end it completely. Don't try to not sell product that was inspired or designed by them.
Yeah, because it's a two people thing. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So I just think it's like if me and you are selling clothing and we're no longer partners, that clothing is no longer gonna see the light of day.
Or so even with this podcast, like if one of us decides we can't continue anymore, it's no longer a podcast. It just ends there, and it's like, I think it adds a grain of salt to the leave or to the separation of Adidas and Kanye by continuing with his designs. And I hopefully Yeezy, what is it called again? Yeezy, the new name of the brand?
Yeezy Supply.
Hopefully with these low prices, not only do they get their old fan base back, because I know they have a big fan base, but hopefully with these low prices, they get a new fan base and they grow off of that.
Well, hopefully it's the same level of quality. I mean, I know I was a big Yeezy head when the Yeezy sneakers were coming out. I mean, you've seen I've had
a good
five or six Yeezy pairs. Now, I have stopped wearing them, not due to everything that's going on. I just have found more comfortable stuff, and now my style is just kind of different. But I don't think I'll be wearing those 350s or even like the Sunflowers, the 750s that I have, or whatever, 700s, until I can get either in on, you know, new Yeezy Supply sneakers, you know, actually created by Kanye. You definitely want to support your artists, because this will ensure that they can keep pushing out quality product. And with those Yeezy shoes, I definitely do think that was quality product. Hopefully the quality is still there without Adidas. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, with these, I know the Yeezy pods are very outlandish, but I think that's what Kanye is known for, being almost outlandish with these designs. And maybe they'll bring out a design for their sneakers that even I like. Since I found the slides comfortable, you know, I don't own a pair myself, but I did find them very comfortable with their simplistic design as well.
The only thing I will say with that is, you say the pods are outlandish, right? And I said this to you earlier. We were having a conversation with your sister, which is my aunt, and we were talking about, you know, the Yeezy pods, and Johnny was saying, hey, have you guys seen them? So while you may say it's outlandish, I think it's kind of, I've always seen him as like innovative. And I said to you earlier, watch in 5 years, 6 years, you're going to see a bunch of people running around in either Yeezy pods or shoes made by Nike or Adidas or these big, you know, companies inspired by the new Yeezy pod.
Definitely.
And we've seen that time and time again, even with the Adidas and Yeezy partnership. You know, Nike came out, all these Yeezy inspired shoes, New Balance came out, you can definitely see the new sneakers and the inspiration to Yeezy. And same even with Adidas. Adidas continued to make shoes outside of the Yeezy partnership that were blatantly inspired by Kanye West.
Kanye himself.
So I'm eager to see where this goes. Aside from that, anything else you want to?
Well, since it's such a disappointment that Adidas took his style and continued it, but changing topics. Did you hear that in Ecuador they found a new species of anaconda?
I did not.
Well, in that region they have, I think, the Amazon rainforest, and it's just a huge area of just swamped forest. I've heard a lot of people that visit that area comment that the water is just black.
Wow.
Just black water. It's, I think, all the soil, all the things
all the
mixed up in it.
And
yeah, so whenever they venture in there below the water, they can't see nothing. And then what these anacondas do is they're an aquatic, not like an aquatic, but they do travel within the water a lot.
Okay.
So that's how they probably get around or sneak around. Because I know if I can't see anything.
Well, snakes are slithery anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they what this new species is called is
a snake is a snake.
Yeah, snake is a snake, but they do have different patterns. What this one is called is a northern green anaconda, and they do say it's going to be the largest species that they have found in Ecuador. And I just say that it's just outlandish to find an even bigger snake, because I think, have you heard that a lot of these anacondas are also slithering around Texas, between Texas and Florida? How do you feel about that?
Florida's swampland. I mean, I haven't seen any anacondas in Texas.
Luckily.
Yeah, but I have seen, even in our backyard or even front yard, the little diamondback snakes that just hang out on the property. So I know we're infested with snakes.
The reason we even have those anacondas here in our backyards is, I heard that a lot of exotic pet collectors, they bring them here as pets, breed them of course, and distribute them, and then a lot of them escape. A lot of them, unfortunately, they try to go for their owners.
Yeah. But
that's mainly how we get a lot of invasive species, because believe it or not, anacondas are an invasive species. We get a lot of invasive species through the exotic animal trade. So
I think that movie Anaconda, did you watch that movie? It's like an old movie with Ice Cube and J-Lo.
I can't recall. I'm
sure you watched it, but my biggest fear with those is every time I walk out, there's a tree in front, right? And I'm there may be
a snake anaconda,
up there. Yeah, just gonna just come down, pick me up and choke me, and
well, they are strong animals. They get chew that big.
Yeah.
And they don't chew, even though they have teeth.
Swallow.
Yeah, they even though they have teeth, they don't chew. They only strike, and those teeth are meant to act like a grapple. So when they snag you, the teeth, if you pull, they just sink deeper and deeper, and then it's just I say it's a scary way to go.
Definitely. Speaking of anacondas, we have the Pink Friday 2 tour kicked off in Oakland, California, March 1st. So I do want to give a quick shout out to Nicki Minaj for, it looks like, I saw some footage and pictures. It looks like they executed a beautiful stage, beautiful choreography. She looks freaking amazing. 17 years into her career. Now that is a win. So I just want to give a huge shout out to her. Now, I cannot wait to see her when she comes to Houston in May. But
she's coming here in Houston?
May 9th on this guy's birthday.
Luckily, Yeah. Well, so, how many people do you think attended the first concert? Do you think?
Oh, the Oakland? I don't know. I didn't see, but I know she's selling out stadiums, which is why I wanted to give even a huge shout out, because 17 years into your career to be selling out stadiums, and on a tour alone. It's not like an ensemble tour. She does have openers, closers. Monica is a singer from the 90s. She's with her, but this is Nicki Minaj tour. Now, again, to be selling out stadiums at this stage in your career, to me,
17
is just
years.
Epic. And it's unheard of, unseen. I know it's hard to do, a U.S. tour, let alone a world tour, and that's what they are doing over there. Nicki's camp is executing a world tour. I know after the U.S. they're going to be going on their world tour.
So what states or what countries or other?
I don't know. She goes to like Australia, Germany. Again, it's a world tour. She will tour
all over the world.
Yeah, pretty much all over the world. I'm sure there's a couple places she won't go to, but that's a big win, especially for a woman creator.
Yep.
And again, to be at that stage in your career, 17, almost 20 years in.
That's a long time. 20 years in anything is a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw footage. She doesn't look, exhausted. Again, she looks amazing.
Well, hopefully she can keep that energy throughout the whole world tour. How long do you think it'll take?
Probably months, dude. She kicked it off March 1st. She's hitting Houston May 9th. I don't know where Houston falls on the U.S. tour. I'm pretty sure it's closer to the end.
To the end, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then if she's gonna do other countries, I'm sure she'll probably be touring until probably summer, early fall. So I guess hopefully she can maintain that energy. I know that must be super difficult to execute.
Well, hopefully any of you guys get to see her. I know I'm not a huge Nicki fan, but with the coincidental visit to Houston, I might use my birthday as an excuse to go. My first Nicki.
I'll be there, so just make sure you get seats next to me.
Of course, I'm gonna just jump in your car and go with you.
Maybe we can make it a Unposted Thoughts podcast little trip.
Live? Nah.
A write-off. No.
A write-off? Well, if she's selling out stadiums, she's selling them out for a reason.
Yeah, she's really dope. So I'm excited to see her.
I know I like some of her songs. So maybe what songs do you like that you visit over and over again?
Definitely the songs on the new album. They're more, I think, like family centered, and I think that's kind of where I'm at this stage in my life. I'm definitely I'll turn up to the old stuff, but
definitely me.
You?
Yeah, I'm more familiar with
the older stuff.
The older songs only through you. Honestly, yeah. If you weren't next to me, I wouldn't know too much of her old songs, and I still don't, but I do. If you hit me with a lyric or you start playing it on a speaker, I would recognize it.
You know where it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you're that recognizable, that you know that you can play a snippet.
She's got a lot of one-liners that, again, I could just say it and Johnny will know. He'll say the next one. And he's not a Nicki fan, but if he hears the first line, he'll come. It's just superstar. Global superstar, honestly. Yeah. Aside from that, anything else you want to add to today's episode?
Well, I say, with it being Sunday, we should recap our week. It only makes sense on a Sunday. It's the end of the week, of the 7-day week. So what did you do this week that maybe stood out to you or that you keep thinking back to?
Definitely seeing my baby every day. But
adorable.
Yeah, she's getting big. So every day to me is holy shit.
A whole nother baby or what?
Well, it's a whole nother human. Every day I'm just holy shit.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful thing. I know I've seen that these starting times, a few days or a month or 3, it's very tough. You gotta tend to her all the time. You gotta balance work. You gotta do all these other small tasks that only get pushed aside because
it's hard, definitely, because you feel there's no balance, even though there is. I'm grateful to say there's a balance, even though at times I feel there is none, and I feel I'm just spread a little too thin. But being a part of that every day, being able to witness it and be there, be present, definitely makes me feel good about myself. Another thing that happened this week, work related, we got a machine at my office. So my boss got this machine. I work at a dental office. I'm a practice manager, and so it's a dental office. My boss is a dentist, but she got a machine that helps deliver non-surgical facelifts.
Oh wow, I don't really get into that. So what does that do exactly? Like the facelifts, I always thought.
So I don't know much about the technology. I just know that it's ultrasound technology, but I mean it's super dope to be a part of an office that offers that. I know we're the only dental office in the U.S. at the moment to offer that technology, that service. So that's a win for my week. It's amazing again to be a part of that, see my boss be able to give this to her patients. It's definitely dope.
Yeah, I feel like it's not really something I see a lot happen. Like I don't hear it in person, or I don't see it, but I'm pretty sure some people would even start getting that treatment through y'all, since you're the only one in Houston or even in Texas.
Yeah, so we're not the only people in Texas. I think there's like 4 or 5 other machines, but we're the first dental office in the States to offer that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, most other places that have it are like plastic surgeons, and again, this is a nice alternative for people that want to avoid going under the knife. But it's dope. And I was there, got delivered this huge box, and seeing my boss super excited over that. I mean, it's exciting to be a part of the practice and see the potential of the practice, see where it'll go. So that's definitely something that stood out for me in my week. What about you?
Well, I have 2 things that are kind of the same, but that stood out to me and made me very proud this week. And basically with my job, we do document destruction, and that involves big trucks. Basically imagine the largest size of U-Haul you can rent out, and with all this hydraulic machinery that can shred any documents you need destroyed. Well, basically what happened is one of my coworkers' trucks came back and he called me. He's like, "Hey Johnny, the chain broke." And so basically what it is that the claw that can pick up a trash can has a chain. It's not like the arm you see with your trash can. It's a chain, and it basically snapped right behind the claw. And so I told him I'll get there and I'll see what I can do. So I call up the company that involves
like all your repairs and stuff. Or?
Yeah, it's basically the company that made the shredding part of this truck. Of course, it sits on I think it's a Freightliner model, and I called them and ordered the parts and all that. Luckily, they did overnight shipping. One of our coworkers picked it up and brought it to our office. And taking a look at it, it was very unexpected, because what we ordered basically is called a master link. It's basically like you fixing your bike chain. It's a piece of metal with 2 rods going through the link, and you put another side link and you clip it together. You clip it closed, and that completes the link. But ours has 2 chains going alongside each other, and on the base it kind of like has one whole link going through both of them, and ours was only for 1 link. Luckily, my coworker was helping me, and he found that other piece, that link that goes through both chains. And at first it was very difficult to get any progress, because it's such a small space.
Yeah.
Such a small space. But he went to go get lunch, just to take a breather. Of course, with a lot of needy projects, a lot of difficult projects, sometimes you just need to step away and take a breather. I know.
For sure.
Yeah. But while he was taking a breather and getting lunch, I got it. Surprisingly, I got it. I slipped the link on the first through the first hole, because on the other side it wouldn't go through. It was so difficult. So I tried on the other side, and once I knew I had leeway to not only go through the first link but the second one, I was like, okay, this side I'm gonna have to nail it down. I bring one of the chains up, push the link through. I had to get 2 of the single pieces that go on the other side and kind of like pin them at the same time. So not only do you have to pin one side to it, but both. And it's just, I ended up getting it out of luck. I think out of luck.
So you repaired it.
Yeah, and then the other time, it was almost the same thing. Not really, but it did involve repairing. So one of our trucks uses a hydraulic arm to open a tunnel. Basically, it opens up. And while we were driving back from a route, that piston kind of unscrewed itself. And I was like, unscrewed? I thought it was just one whole piece. Why would it unscrew itself? So I got back to the warehouse, and I tried to kind of fix it myself. I had to disarm a head connected to the tunnel.
Yeah.
So it's like a piece that's fixated to the tunnel by a bolt. And the piston had unscrewed itself. And I was like, how did it unscrew itself? I tried to twist the piston head, but it didn't give any leeway. So I'm like, how did it come undone? But
so you figured that out? Not
on my own. My coworker had to come because he had just better tools in the back of his car. So we undid the head and screwed it on.
So what I'm getting from this is we can open a mechanic shop.
I'm not too experienced, but
you can be a head mechanic if you have any Freightliners that need repairing, any pistons, any hydraulic components that you need repaired. Definitely email us. I'll put you in touch with Johnny, and we'll have Johnny take a look at it for you. That's awesome, though.
It is awesome. It just made me
I
proud.
Wouldn't have the patience to sit there and like.
Luckily, I did.
I know you've always been like that. You've always been like a builder, like a Lego maniac. Like
yeah, dude.
I remember you would build these like crazy freaking Lego monuments, and
it's all patience. Everything has its way to be fixed, and everything has in their instructions. So
yeah,
that's the thing the two things that made me proud today or this week.
Well, that's awesome. So thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Definitely God bless, everybody, the listeners especially. And tune in next Sunday. We've got a new drop every Sunday. And then also just a reminder, if you're on the road, you don't want to, load the YouTube version of this.
Just load up the audio version, man. Just listen to us.
And we've got the audio version on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or you could follow our RSS channel. All that stuff will be linked below. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and God bless you, and thank you for listening. Adrian signing off.
Johnny signing off, definitely.
We'll see you guys next week.